Yo, yo, it's your boy Joe.
This your boy Greg. We the co-pilots from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
What's going on today, Greg, man?
Hey man, I can't complain. Same as usual, man. Out here in Pennsylvania right now,
Yeah,
traveling and whatnot. So being in New Jersey tomorrow, so I'm just traveling back and forth, same as usual.
that's what's up, man. But we ain't gonna hold the audience too long, man. It's already 8 o'clock, and we're gonna get right to the BS today. So I feel like we've been starting with college football. I mean, NFL. The last first 2 weeks we've been starting with NFL. So I want to kind of change it up today, and let's start with college football. You cool with that, Greg?
Yeah, that's cool. I always be for start with college football though.
That's what's up though. Then, so we're gonna get right into college football week 3. And we see you see the teams down at the bottom: Clemson, Miami, Florida State.
Hey, hold on 1 second. I'm laughing right because my god sister, she just sent me a video with me at the game or what. Matter of fact, me and you at the game or whatnot.
Uh huh.
Remember after the touchdown, man, my nephew got us to take our shirt off.
Yeah.
She just sent it to she just sent it to me.
Hell no, man. I was thinking about that too because I was looking on your sister page
Right.
and I was trying to see if she had posted it. Because I said, man, she probably gonna post it. And I know Misty was like, "Boy, I can't take y'all nowhere."
But you gotta
I
blame
said, "Man, you know
you
we
gotta
have to
blame my
turn up,
nephew,
man. You know
man.
the Jaguars playing and shit like that, though."
Gotta blame my nephew and Turhan for that one.
Yeah, we got yeah, yeah, we definitely do. So Um, no furthermore, man. Let's talk about these Florida State Seminoles, man. Impressive win on Saturday, 66-10. I think I started watching that game about like in the second quarter because it was like, I mean, it was total domination. I did like to see some of the young guys getting some playing time. My only concern about that game, Castellanos did get banged up, but they said he could have returned if he needed to, but the
Right.
game was out of reach. But hey, man, it's only Virginia this week, man. I like our chance against Miami when we play them 2 weeks from now. So, what's your thoughts, Greg?
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to look ahead because playing on a Friday is, always it haven't always been favorable to us. So we definitely got to get past Virginia first, man. Get past Virginia Tech first. But Miami, I think I like our chances too. I will say, man, to my unbiased opinion, I get in the edge because I like their quarterback situation better than ours. But it's like I said before, man, when we looking at college football, it's not always about the better quarterback. Most time it's about the more athletic quarterback that wins the game because you tend to be able to do more with athleticism in college than a pro style quarterback because everybody that's in college is not up to date with the pro style offense or how a quarterback play. You get what I'm saying? His quick reads and things like that there. And even when you look at the defensive side of the ball, so a lot of times, man, you look at athleticism, man, that can outdo a pro style quarterback. And you think about it, man. And I brought this up. You look at Michael Vick. Michael Vick almost sent us in, man, by himself in the national championship. And everybody know we had when you look, I mean Vic was the better quarterback, as far as athleticism, but you look at far as a passer, whatnot, overall passer, you have to give it to Chris Winkie. I mean, yeah, even though Chris Winkie had been in college, I mean, what he was like 28
Long
at the
ass
time or something
time.
like that. Yeah, so but like and you can when you look at the history of the game, you can go to numerous examples of like the more athletic quarterback outshine the more pro style quarterback.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, you make some great points, and I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to this Florida State Miami game is Carson Beck. Man, it's gonna come down to Carson Beck because some things I took away from that game. Carson Beck, his deep ball is not all that good. That interception Cromartie McClain made. Now that was a hell of an interception, but he baited him into that interception. And then it
Right.
seemed like after that interception, Miami started like they got conservative passing wise. I'm gonna just say that.
Right.
It seemed like to me that they know something about Carson Beck that we don't know, and I think Florida State gonna be able to exploit it. When you look at the competition they played, not knocking Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame is a good team, but they don't have a good defense this year. And you just look at all the other cupcake teams they played. Florida was a good game. And I think that was really maybe their first major test was Florida playing against a good defense.
Right.
But I like our chances, man. I think Carson Beck will get exposed against Florida State. Right now, Miami riding on a high horse. They deserve it. They played a tough schedule. They played Florida. They played Notre Dame. Outside of those, those teams, they deserve the right to talk. But I think Florida State gonna end that shit, man. I don't trust Mario Cristobal, bro. And then one other thing I would take from the Miami team too defensively is they had made a mention that the new defensive coordinator he just got them playing aggressive, and then one of the announcers was watching that Florida game. It was like Miami defense take a lot of bad angles, and I think a guy like Gus Malzahn would exploit that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I think to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I praise us so much because of our coach. You know what I'm saying? Our coaching staff. And that's the reason why I'm critical of Miami due to their coach. You know what I'm saying? I always think Miami got the talent. I think Miami, you know what I'm saying, the last couple of years, I think Miami had outstanding talent on their football team. But I think the thing that has been holding them back is Mario Cristobal. Now, like I say, I'm not and I'm not saying that Mario Cristobal is not a good coach, or that he can't be a good coach, or that he can't do great things with on the collegiate level. But my thing is this: when you have a program like Miami, and I mentioned this before, when you have a program like Miami, it's kind of like going to a team like the Dallas Cowboys. Um, you don't just play to play for an ACC championship or just to have a good record. You play to win national championships, and the fan base is going to constantly remind you of that. And so when those things are not getting done, this is going to be brought up. It's like the same thing with Alabama. You see it with their coach, with Caleb DeBoer. So I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to be a hindrance when you look at the relationship with Cristobal and the youth. You know how's that's going to pan out, and I think that can become a distraction.
Let me ask you a question about Mario Cristobal. Do you think that Miami will move off of him if he doesn't get it done this year, man? I mean, you got 2 years in a row, basically. You got the best NIL quarterback 2 years in a row. You got Cam Ward, which was no one overall pick, and you got Carson Beck this year. Um, my thing is that at some point you got to get it done, bro. Like it's like if you can't get it done, then I don't know back now, but I take with a little bit with Miami, far as the organization, or far as the people that are making decisions, they may not want to get back to being mediocre again because they went through a run of coaches that was bad. You know what I'm saying? The Al
Right.
Goldwins and all these bad coaches. So I think that might be Mario Cristobal's saving grace. Like, okay, he is winning some games. We may not be winning championships, but we somewhat are. We still get talked about. Not might be in the same light as back in the day. That like the U. We know what they say that, but uh, we good. And they could be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But I think at some point you gotta win, man. And like you gotta win, bro. You've been in the ACC this long, bro, and you still ain't won a. You only been in one ACC championship game since you've been in the ACC.
Right. And I think the problem is this. You get what I'm saying? It's not that they haven't been to a national championship or haven't won or played for a national championship. The problem is they haven't won an ACC championship. So let's start there. You know, ever since they got in the ACC, they haven't won. I think they might have played for it once, maybe twice
It
or
was once
whatnot.
against Clemson. They got their ass
Right.
whooped.
And
Yup.
so and that was the only time. And so now not to mention that they haven't won, but it's like you got to think like they're not even playing for a national championship on a consistent basis. Even in the years that when you have Florida State with a down year, Clemson with a down year, they're not even making it they're not even making it to the conference championship. And to me, that is the problem because you
Right.
have a team that is loaded with talent. A
Yeah.
lot of recruits, a lot of all, players that we was going after, they went past us and went to Miami. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And like I say, man, they got a lot of good recruits, and they have some players to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, at the same time, you always got to ask yourself: is Mario Cristobal getting the most out of his talent? You know what I'm saying? Now, also you have to think, and you brought up a good point when you saying that they may not want to go back to be mediocre. They may think that we may have something good with Cristobal. And I would say for when you look at the program, the organization from their standpoint, I think they are humble because they're giving him a chance. You get what I'm saying? I
Right.
think when you look at it in that aspect, they have humbled themselves. But when you talking about the fans, you get what I'm saying? This is where the distraction come to play in at. And I think the fans are getting tired of it. And in a minute, they're going to be like the Florida fans asking for a coaching change. You get what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, look, even our fan base did that well, of course, it was going to happen with Willie Taggart, but it
Right.
even happened with Jimbo. Now that was
Facts.
something I disagreed with. I wasn't really all for getting rid of Jimbo, but what happened, what's done is done. You know what I'm saying? And he left because he, wanted to pursue greener pastures. And but we're seeing it with Florida, with Billy Napier. You know what I'm saying? So and even it was even fans, calling for Norvell as well. You get what I'm saying? Probably a few,
Yeah, they
that
was
that
calling for his job. You
right.
definitely right. They was
But
calling for his job.
the noise wasn't as loud due to the fact that the year prior. You get what I'm saying? The year
Hmm.
prior from the year we only won 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, man, with Cristobal, I'm not going to say he's a bad coach, but I'm going to continue to say I think he's going to be on the hot seat. You get what I'm saying? And I think he's on the hot seat. You know, he's when you look at the talent that's on this team, you got to ask yourself, has he underachieved? You get what I'm saying? But some may be satisfied with that, and which is understandable because you don't want to go through the constant coaching changes, and sometimes coaches get better. Sometimes they find a spark. Um, it was the same with Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney didn't come into Clemson automatically playing for ACC championships and going to the national championship. It took a growing process, and maybe it's the same with Cristobal. But at the same time, I know that the fan base could be a distraction. Clemson fan base was more humble. With the U fan base, it can be a distraction. That noise can get real loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna get loud, man. I think it will if he don't get it done this year, because 2 years in a row, like I said, bro, y'all ain't got Cam Ward, bro, and you wasted away a season with this guy, dog. Like y'all should have been playing in the playoffs. Like y'all should have been in the ACC game, bro. Then you go out this year and get Carson back, and right now y'all looking like a top 5 team in the country. And it's like the expectations now with Miami fans, the you back, they want to see some results, and I agree to this certain degree to that. But you was talking about Clemson. I want to say it into Clemson. You got any more thoughts on Miami?
Nah, go ahead.
Clemson, man, when you brought up about Clemson and their fans being humble, I think this year Dabble has caused a rift with the fans. And the
Right.
reason why I say that is because he went on like a 10-minute tangent about all his accomplishments. And this was before that Syracuse game. About if y'all don't winning and I've been winning. We only had lost 4 times and won like so many things. All his accomplishments. And you come out there and lay a fucking egg against Syracuse at home. That I mean, bro, you said all that to all the boosters and all these people. I think that loud. It's gonna get a little bit louder this year, man. And it's not that Dabble is not a bad coach. I just think that some of his systems that he have in place are outdated. And hell, he just not getting in transfer portal. What 2 years? What was it? No, this year I think it was. He got in the transfer portal because
This
I know
may be the
last year
first
he
year.
was talking and we dropped it on the channel. He was saying, "Oh, transfer players not good enough to be on Clemson." Now they good enough now. I just think Dabble kind of shot himself in the foot, and it's starting to show out on the field. Like as great as a coach you is, uh, it just ain't panning out right now. The players, it's just not. You guys are not a good team.
Right. And you know what? You brought up a good point. But my thing was this, right? I didn't mind nothing Jimbo. I mean, to my Jimbo. I didn't mind nothing Dalbo Sweeney said. You get what I'm saying? I thought he made a great point. When he addressed the fans, when he addressed the media, he was accurate. Everything he said was spot on. You get what I'm saying? But
Right,
at the same time, to follow up with that type of performance against Syracuse, that what made, you know what I'm saying, it kind of made your argument look bad. It kind of gave your argument a black eye. And we know he's a good coach. We know if and he said this, if Clemson was to let him go, it'd be other teams knocking his door down. You know what I'm saying? Blowing his line up. Facts. You get what I'm saying? But to follow that up with that type of performance, you get what I'm saying? It gave what you said a black eye. But at the same time, what he said, I agree with. But you have to follow up with results. You get what I'm saying? When you
right,
when you when you're going back and forth with the fan base that support you, you get what I'm saying? You gotta deliver with results. You get what I'm saying? And like you say, and now, like you say, Clemson fans are not as humble as they was when Dabo Sweeney first came in. And just like I mentioned earlier, when he first came, he had that grace period because he was unproven. Now we
right,
see what you can do. You get what I'm saying?
right,
So now to underachieve, it's unacceptable. You get what I'm saying?
right,
And it's not the fact that it's not that if you was to lose against Florida State or Miami or one of the top hitters or whatnot, is the teams you're losing to, the teams you're
facts,
struggling with. And
facts,
not to mention
facts.
when you came into the season with a Heisman hopeful in Cade Klumnik with
Right,
a with a loaded roster with tons
right.
of talent around. You get what I'm saying? Unacceptable.
You absolutely right about that, man. And I think another thing is too when you look at that Clemson loss against Syracuse. Syracuse was a 13 and a half point underdog in that game. Kind of like how we went into that Florida State Alabama game. They had the same spread, 13 and a half
Right.
points. And for you to lose that bad, the game wasn't even competitive. It was like Syracuse came in your trap and took over your trap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was, bro. It was no, I mean, it looked bad because Cade Klubnik has been there. He's a 4-year starter. And you would think by now, Cade Klubnik would be like, know this offense, have the rims, and he would be running full speed. This guy, once you take away the run game from Cade Klubnik, where he can't hand that ball off and he got to throw it and he got to make everything passing and running, it's
Right.
not a good look. When he's a dual threat quarterback running and passing, it's bad for Clemson. You have to have Cade Klubnik as a guy. He's more of a guy that needs to stay back, pocket passer, and throw the ball. But when he has to run and make all decisions and make the plays for the offense, they struggle. He's not like a Michael Vick or even a Tommy Castellano who's got very athletic. He got wheels, but he don't got the wheels to create plays. You get what I'm saying? And I think he struggles with that when you take away that run game of Clemson.
I think he got wheels to make plays, but it's just that whole team been playing bad. You get what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. He's pretty much doing the same thing that DJ Uyunglele did. You get what I'm saying? He had a good season, then follow up with a piss poor performance, and just he digressed each year after that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now Cade Klumnik, we seen him get better, but then now we're seeing him going back down. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's like now, teams was a tough place to go into Death Valley and to come out with a win, man. That's a tough, you going in a hostile environment. Now, this season, man, teams going into their house, man, going straight to the living room, grabbing the remote, putting their feet up on the coffee table, going in the
Real.
refrigerator, fixing them something to eat, doing whatever the hell they want to do in their house. You get what I'm
Real.
saying? Just
Kicking
grab,
their feet up and all.
yeah, they just grabbing the remote with grease on their hand, changing the station on whatever game they want to put it on. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
So this is what teams are doing when they come into Death Valley. They're not scared. They're not coming in. It's not a respectable place anymore.
And yeah, you're right, man. Clemson is like, I think, every coach go through this run. And I was sitting back thinking about this before we started the show. And I was just like, if you look at the ACC, you know, uh, Bobby Bowden dominated for about a 10-year stretch, right? From like 1990 to like 2000, or probably longer than that. No,
He
14-year
he
stretch.
dominated the whole. Just say the '90s.
The whole 90s. And I think from like 1986 or 87 to 2000, about a 14-year time stretch, he dominated. When you
Right,
look at Clemson, man, it's been the same thing. They had about a decade of dominance. And I think at some point, teams in the division, in the conference, they start to catch up with you.
right.
And then you start losing coaches. You lost Tony Elliott, offensive coordinator, a couple years ago.
Yep.
And then you lost Brett Venables to Oklahoma, which I think that probably was your biggest loss. And I think about when you really think about like Florida State. Remember when we lost Mark Richt's offensive coordinator?
Right,
Our offense never looked the same after that. You get what I'm saying?
right,
It just was never the same. And I think that's what Clemson's going through right now. Honestly, you've lost so many people. You lost so many people on your staff, and it's like, man, you got to change up some of your processes, and you got to do some things a little bit different. And I think once Dabo figure it out, because he's a smart enough coach to do that, Clemson will be fine. But if they don't, and they want to get rid of him, they could fall and be like the next Nebraska. Nebraska
right.
ain't been relevant since they let go Frank Solich. Man, I'm lying. Bo Pelini. Since they let go Bo Pelini, and they still trying to find that coach. And I think
Right.
that's what Clemson's scared of, going back to being an irrelevant program.
Exactly. Which I mean, like I say, it's understandable because at the same time, you get what I'm saying. Like, um, like you say, man. Sometimes you look at it as just like, okay, it's one season or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? Um, I mean, you still want to like you say, you still want to be able to perform and everything like that. There, you still want to you still expect better play. But at the same time, you may look at it and say, you know what, it's one season or whatnot. And I think that a coach like Dabo, man, deserved that grace period amongst the fan base. Like, you have to give him that, because prior to him, Clemson was a mediocre. They was a good program, but they wasn't. You get what I'm saying? They was one of those teams that you would say in the ACC, or in college, that was play the spoilers. They wasn't a team that you would look at and say, this team may make the national championship or win a national championship this year. They wasn't a team like that. And you know what I'm saying, prior to Dabo Swinney coming in, even though they have won a national championship before he got there. So I think that he's earned that grace period to at least try to clean up. And it was the same thing I was saying with Norvell. And Norvell haven't did half as what Dabo has done in college. But at the same time, I would say that, and I said that about him, I say he's earned that grace period. Give him time to clean it up. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, and I got to go back to this, when you go before the camera and you make these type of statements, regardless of how true they is or not, you have to follow up. You get what I'm saying? You have to
Facts.
follow up, you know, because you didn't come, let's be honest, you didn't come into the media with a humble approach. You get what
You
I'm
didn't.
saying? You felt like
Right.
some, and I understand it. I understand it. You did not come in there with a humble approach. But at the same time, do not go, you know what I'm saying, go into that matchup that you know what I'm saying, playing against Syracuse at home. Don't wait till then to humble yourself then. You get what I'm saying? You got to keep that
Right.
same energy on the field.
I feel you. And I agree, man. And since we talking about coaches, man, I want to talk about Florida a little bit. I know we said we was gonna talk about Nebraska, but I'm gonna tie UNLV into this Florida conversation because Dan Mullen over there doing his thing in UNLV, and it looked like they might be the non-power five school to get into the college playoff. Right now, they sitting at 3-0, and
Wow.
like they went out, and long as they beat Boise State, if Boise State can kind of somewhat be, a good game, and they can be like somewhat, if they can be ranked by the time they play, because they play in like a couple weeks. Uh, I think UNLV gets in, and it's crazy that if UNLV gets in, Dan Mullen was y'all last successful coach, Florida, and you let him go because he didn't. And granted, he had his. It wasn't all just the organization fault. It was his fault too. He didn't want to recruit and all this other stuff. But you had to make that situation work because since you let him go, y'all been losing, man. Your coaches you had hasn't been great, and
Right.
it'd just be crazy to see the coach y'all let go have success somewhere else, and then y'all in Florida like, well, that was
Right.
our coach at one point, like, you know what I'm saying? So, what's your thoughts on that, Greg?
Um, the thing is this, man, like I say, and I always felt like Dan Mullen was a good coach. That was always my thing. I always said, man, I felt like they should have kept Dan Mullen. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
Um, but I know that if he was to make it to the college playoff, that's going to be the narrative. You get what I'm saying?
facts,
That's going to be the narrative that listen, man, y'all had a coach or whatnot, and that could have led y'all, that y'all could have had success with, but it didn't happen. So I think that that's going to be the narrative if that was to happen, especially how bad Florida playing as of right now. You know,
facts,
Florida's not looking good. Um, they getting slapped upside the head like crazy. So and to me, that would be a false narrative because we know that that would be a false narrative that would be put out because we know if Dan Mullen was there, like, UNLV is not playing against nobody. They're not playing SEC caliber opponents,
right,
you know. And we know that Florida had a tough schedule last season and a tough schedule this season. Last season they overachieved. I gave them their props. That what made me look at Billy Napier in a different light. Okay, maybe he is a better coach than what I think he is. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But this season, and I don't even put it on him. Like you say, man, you got DJ Ladway throwing interceptions to everybody. He passing out balls to the other team like Oprah passing out cars. You get a
Cause
car. You you get a ball. You get a ball. You know what I'm saying? He just
for
passing them out
real.
to everybody. You get what I'm saying? He making shit a whole god doggone secondary get an interception, man.
Facts.
So so you have to look. So you have to take all that into account, though. You know what I'm saying? But that is something that will get brought up, though.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I feel bad for Florida fans. Well, I don't feel bad for
I
Florida
don't
fans.
feel bad
I
for
don't
him.
feel bad for them because they was talking a lot of shit before the season started.
Yeah,
But
I don't feel bad
I
for him.
mean, for Florida fans, I think that if UNLV gets into this playoff, do you think they will spin the block back with Dan Mullen?
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna look elsewhere. Um, I don't think they're gonna go backwards. You hear what I'm saying? The reason they left that situation because they left that situation. You
Okay,
know, like I say, UNLV is not facing the same caliber opponents that Florida's facing in the SEC. So I think that like I say, man, I think they move forward with that situation right there. I would be surprised if they did. And I
okay,
think if they did, Dan Mullen gonna want more money because he's gonna have the leverage.
thanks. I think what the biggest thing is with a lot of between Florida, Clemson, and some of these schools that's known for winning, winning tradition when it comes to college football. I think a lot of people don't want to be like Nebraska, man. They look at Nebraska and they see like it's been since like the early 2000s, what 2009 maybe 2010. It's been about a 14 over a decade. Nebraska football has just not been good. And
Right.
even with Frank Solich, he had like a 67 and 27 record. He won a lot of games, but he never went to a national championship. I think they went to maybe what? Nope, they didn't go. They went to a couple bowl games, but they didn't go to no natties.
Right.
So when you've been to a school like like you said, it's hard to follow up against great coaches. When Tommy Osborne left Nebraska, they got Bill Callahan from the Raiders. When changed the whole offense up because Tommy Osborne was an old school option wing T type running coach.
Right.
Changed that up to West Coast offense, and the program just been going down ever since. And then when they got Frank Solich, no, not Frank Solich, but um, Bo Pelini, they started winning some games, but it was never to the success of Frank Solich and Tommy Osborne. Like you said too early on, when you following up greatness, it's gonna be hard to do. And fans, I hate to say it, we get spoiled. We get used to winning so much that we think we're supposed to win forever, and then we go and replace a coach, and they don't do the same job as other coaches. Like then we get into this constant cycle of trying to find coaches. And I think you gotta be patient. You always preach that great about the coaching carousel. Coaches, they gotta be patient. The organization gotta be patient. But I think that's what everybody's scared of. Nobody wants to be a modern day Nebraska.
Right.
And that's what Florida is looking at. That's what Clemson looking at. Those schools are both in a situation like what we do with the coach. I think Napier's out the door this year regardless, but who you gonna hire though? And I think that's the biggest question with Florida is who you gonna hire. And with Clemson is okay, this guy's getting cocky. Maybe he's past his prime. Maybe we go a little direction. But then again, who we gonna hire? And
Right.
who can this program stay relevant? And those questions that they got the organizations and the university got to ask themselves.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about the Big 12, man. I know we'll get on the Big 12 and then we can segue into some NFL talk. Texas Tech, they won over the weekend. They beat Utah. I had Utah winning that game. I didn't think Texas Tech was that good, but they playing like they're the best team in the Big 12. We know that Colorado. I don't think we don't think Colorado gonna win it. You got
Nah.
BYU, and you got Kansas State, and then you got Iowa State. And these are the guys that have been there playing, and everybody's kind of like naked in the Big 12. There's no one separating themselves, and I think right now, Texas Tech might be the favorite, man. You know what I'm saying? The offense is clicking. The transfer guys that they brought in, they it seemed like it was a knockout, kind of like a similar situation with Florida State when we brought in Jared versus those guys.
Right.
And it just seemed like everything that they did in the transfer portal this year is working, and it's showing this year, man, with Texas Tech. But
Man, it's kind of hard, man, when you looking at the Big 12, man, because nothing's over there is consistent. You know, we thought that we would probably see that because you got to think the teams that were consistent was like Oklahoma, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Even Texas wasn't consistent
right,
when they was over there. They had and just like around the time they started catching their spark, they was off to the SEC. Oklahoma was
mm-hmm,
pretty consistent with Lincoln Riley. You know what I'm saying? And Brent Venables, he's doing good with the program or whatnot. But they left for the SEC. It's nothing consistent over there. We thought that, maybe it could have been Colorado because the spark or whatnot. And I think that most people wanted that because it would have been good for the conference and the program overall because it bring notoriety to that conference. You get what I'm saying?
right,
But I mean, it's that's my biggest thing. It's nothing consistent. Like it was even times I thought Utah win it,
mm-hmm,
and they got plagued with injuries or whatnot with Cam Rising. You know, um, it was times where we thought where a few of us thought Colorado had a shot last season, but they lost. But I mean, I think they played for, but they lost though. You get what I'm saying? They came close,
right,
they lost. You know, I think they kind of like a little bit behind this season. Like I say, man, it's kind of hard to call when looking at that conference right now. You get what I'm saying? Because they kind of the conference that kind of get looked over because everything else out there. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And even behind the ACC, but ACC has been playing better this year. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And I guess due to the fact because a team over there, you don't expect whatever team come from out of that conference, you don't expect them to win or nothing like that. There, so you're not even looking at them. You're not even considering this conference because you're looking at, okay, the winner of this conference when they go into the playoff is just going to be an easy win for another team. This is how they're being viewed right now.
Right.
So I think that it's going to take for a team to emerge and be consistent to gain that type of respect. You know,
Absolutely, man. I was hoping another team I forgot to mention in the Big 12 was our old offensive coordinator. He's the head coach at Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham.
Dillingham, correct.
So he's over there at Arizona State doing his thing, man. I thought they might have been a favorite too, but like you said, bro, this is the conference. It's like the redhead stepchild of the Power Four conferences. Like no one give them. They're like honestly, I feel like they the new Pac-12.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we gotta
But
see.
even
Still,
but even the Pac-12, like, well, damn, did they have consistency? You know what I'm saying? Because even with them, I mean, well, they did at one time with Oregon,
in USC,
not
they
too
had
long
their
ago.
little run with Pete Carroll.
Then yeah, but like I say, they run with Pete Carroll. Then Oregon came along. Just Oregon didn't never win a national championship. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And they probably was probably let's say like almost 10 years removed from that era. Probably is
Mm-hmm.
10 years. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but since then it was nothing, and it was really nothing consistent. Like Pete Carroll made the Pac-12 fun to watch. Chip Kelly made the Pac-12 fun to watch, watching these teams or whatnot, you know. And so now they get looked at, but it's nothing that's over there in the Big 12 that's fun to watch. Well, we would say Colorado, you know what I'm saying, because
But they
I
not
mean,
fun to watch this year. Their
yeah,
offense look bad,
yeah, but
man. They not fun
exactly.
to watch this year.
But it's like, you still look at this team like, dang, something to cheer for or whatnot. You know what I'm
Got you.
saying? But that brings excitement to the conference, but it's nothing over there. You get what I'm saying?
Really ain't.
But I
Really
mean, I
ain't
think
over there,
that,
man.
and if Coach Prime don't have this program winning consistently, you know what I'm saying? That may even fizzle out. You know what I'm saying?
You're right, man. And I just think that that like one of these teams in the Big 12 got to make some noise, and also they got to beat somebody of relevance right now. Right now, they don't really play nobody. When you look at uh all what they play, and when they did play like Colorado, they played against Georgia Tech. They got beat. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like these guys got to beat somebody, and right now they not really beating nobody. And hey man, it is what it is at this point, bro. So I think that like you said, bro, it's no consistent. Hopefully by the middle of the season we'll have a little bit know who gonna win the Big 12, man. So let's segue into some NFL news. So let's talk about our beloved Jags, man. Our Jags, they won 10-17 in a hard fought division game against the Houston Texans. And I got my little notes here and I want to talk about it. Then I'm gonna let you take off, Greg. I think some things I take away from this game. The offense still need help. I mean, Trevor Lawrence got to play better. He missed there was some throws out there to be desired that I thought he could have made. Red zone, we still struggling in the red zone. We got to clean that up. And then receivers got to catch balls, man. I mean, the receivers got to catch. I mean, we had a lot of drops on that, and I don't blame that all on Trevor because some of these balls they were in their hand, they just dropped.
Right.
And I think they got. I mean, this week coming in against the 49ers, they need to have a chip on their shoulder, wide receiver room. And then I want to just say that defense, man. A+ performance, man. B+ performance. These guys, they was all over flying around. And I think that this defense right now is proven to be the stronghold of this team as of right now. Outside of week 2 performance against the Bengals, you look at against the Panthers and against the Texans, this defense has held two teams 10 points or under. You know what I'm saying? With 10 points or less. So I like that. So go ahead, Greg.
Right. I think, man, like you look at this team, man, the strong point is the run game and the defense. On the offensive side of the ball, Travis Etienne has been our best player. He's been more consistent and he's been more productive than any other player on the offense. You know, we thought it was going to be BTJ again, but I mean, he probably has been one of our worst players on the offense, if we're being honest. You know, the offensive
I
line
agree.
every week, they has been coming to play. You know, Trevor Lawrence, it ain't all bad, it ain't all good. You get what I'm saying? I will say, in part, and I guess due to his role being minimized and whatnot, he's looked better with getting the ball a lot quicker, you know. And I think if some of these balls are being caught, it'll actually make him look better. But at the
Hmm.
same time, too, if it's not going to happen, Trevor has to throw better as well. You know what I'm saying? He has to minimize his turnovers, you know. And so, but like I say, man, on all offense, man, ETN has been our best player. Our run game and our O line has been the bright spot of our O line. The defense, man, like I say, man, defense might be middle of the pack, but they getting the job done. The turnovers, the tackles for losses. You get what I'm saying? Um, Dudes, they've been looking good, man. They've been looking good as a unit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, Jordan Lewis, he's been a standout player. Eric Murray, man, he's been getting the job done, man. Tyson Campbell playing better than last season. That's to be noted. Um, it be sometimes he may get burnt here and
You
there,
already know he
but
is.
at the same time, I will say this about Tyson Campbell. He has made up for times he has got burnt. But at the same time, when you're going against a premier receiver like Jamar Chase, that's to be expected. You get what
Facts.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he played good against Nico Collins this week. So I would say, like, man, all things considered, he's playing good. He's playing good. So I like what I see out of our defense, and I like our chances, man, against San Fran this week. You know, no Nick Bosa, he's out. Um, I don't think George Kittle is playing. Um, and also, I think Matt Jones probably going to be the starter again.
You're absolutely right, man. The defense has been doing this thing, and Jordan Lewis, whether you know it, I think he's right now top five in interceptions right now.
Okay.
With three. And one thing I will say about the Jaguars that I do like is the fact that this year this team is constantly fighting, and that's one thing that I felt like in past years that we didn't do well.
Yeah.
We would get down like especially in that game on Sunday. I'm pretty sure at least 75% of the Jaguar fans thought we was gonna lose that game because the Texans was driving. It was less than like 5 minutes left in the game. Could be the last. This could be the game winning drive because Jaguars ain't gonna do nothing. Did nothing in the second half. Nothing on the offensive side of the ball. These are the type of games Jacksonville used to lose, and for
Right.
them to pull it out, I was impressed. And I think that's something that I think you can hang your hat on when we go over to the 40 and we play the 49ers. That this team is going to continue to compete, and they don't never think they're out of a game.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, you got any more thoughts on the Jaguars, Greg?
Nah. Nah. Nah.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about some games in the NFL. Let's talk about that game that happened last night, man. This Ravens game and Lions game, and I thought that game was pretty impressive because I thought the Lions was gonna lose. I'm like they're gonna be 1-2, and Dave Campbell gonna have to do some soul searching. But they went out and played good, man, and it looked like they was the more better. They was the better team, the better prepared team, and the Ravens at times out there looked lost. Lamar Jackson, even though he had he threw the ball particularly well last night, he had some bonehead plays like that fumble. I mean, then you got your boy Derrick Henry. He acting like Travis Etienne last year, fumbling the ball and shit. Like damn, like you was like you like got butterfingers. So I'm just thinking, that the Ravens got to that run game back going. How they used to get the confidence back with Travis, Derrick Henry not fumbling the ball. And I think this Raven team will be fine, man. I mean, they're 1-2. It's not the end of the world. You can still turn your season around, but you got to start winning some games. And the thing is you open up division play, and I don't know, man. You got the Bengals playing well.
They
Shit,
play the
everybody in
Chiefs
that
next
division
week.
will won a game.
Yeah, they play the Chiefs next week, man. I would say this, man. You know, it's pretty much they shooting themselves in the foot. If you look at Baltimore, like teams are not just beating them; they shooting themselves in the foot. Now I give credit to the Lions because they look like what Baltimore usually look like. And I'm talking about very creative design, play call, and everything like that. Though, they looked very creative, man. They were just doing what they wanted to do on the offensive side of the ball. But like I say, man, I think that Baltimore has been shooting themselves in the foot with the turnovers. You get what I'm saying? Derrick Henry, man, with the fumbles or whatnot. I think he got what 3 this season or whatnot.
Yep,
And
yep,
that's not like him. You get what I'm saying? I don't
exactly.
I don't remember Derrick Henry ever having 3 fumbles in a season. I
That's
don't
what I'm
never
saying.
I think the only time I remember Derrick Henry fumbling against us that year, Trevor Lawrence second year went up and played him. I think he might have had 2 that game. But that's not his normal though. That's not nothing I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. Derrick Henry, man, and I think the big. And I was watching the interview, the post game interview with Derrick Henry, man, and you can just kind of tell in his face, like, not his confidence lost that he is like it's fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
Right,
I don't have to, don't fumble the ball like this. What is happening to me? And because now what's happening now is the coaching staff is starting to withdraw carries from him because he's been a risk to fumble the ball. And I think he's seeing that, and it's starting to wear on the butt. I do think that the Ravens will be fine. They're
right,
not in the easiest division, but they gotta figure it out. Like you say, they got the Chiefs the next game, so you got another team that's desperate, two desperate teams. We'll see how it ends.
right. 2 teams that are 1-3.
1-2, yep.
I mean, were they
So
1-2 or 1-3?
the 1-2,
Okay. So one of them gonna be 1-3.
yep. Somebody. So let's talk about this Rams Eagle game, which I thought that was a crazy ending to that game. How to end the block field goal, take the lead, you win the game. And the only thing I say about this game is that the Rams got something on the Eagles. Like they played them close the last 2 times. They played them close in the playoffs last year, and they
Right,
should have won on Sunday, but they didn't. But the Eagles got to start off. They got to start the game off playing better. As for the last, what I've been noticing with the Eagles is they have these slow starts. And then it's like they don't get it going to the third quarter or late in the second quarter, and then they want to start picking it up. And I think at some point with these slow starts in the game, it's going to cost you. It's going to catch up with you where the depth is going to be too big for you to come back, or you're going to play fundamentally sound teams and not going to beat themselves, and you're not going to be able to win those games. And I think that's something that Eagle fans, they've been all in my chat. Oh, we still want to win. But it's something as a fan. If I was an Eagle fan, I would be concerned because I think again, you play the right team, you're not going to be able to do that. And I think unfortunately, the Rams in their aspect, they should have won that game. I think, but special teams, man, it's part of the game, bro.
right, right. Um, I guess you could say a win is a win. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, I mean, a lot of times you don't want that to be the deciding factor. Maybe in a championship game, but I mean, when you looking at like moments like that to survey your team or to analyze your team or whatnot, you're gonna look at how did we get into this position. You get what I'm saying? Now you're gonna look at a team win and say, you know what, we got the W. Hats off to the special team. But you're gonna also look at how did we get in this position. You get what I'm saying? For our special team had to come up and make a play, to win the
Mm-hmm.
game. So, and now, like I say, man, Rams, they could be a good team. They could be one of those teams that's bumping like that. But when you look at week after week after week, like, They almost lost. They could have lost to the Cowboys. Cowboys been playing bad. Who they played the week after that?
They played. I
You
think
know,
they played. I want to say they played. They played the Chiefs. They
the
had played the
Chiefs,
Chiefs. Yup, they played
Chiefs
the
or
Chiefs for the
whatnot.
Chiefs.
You know what I'm saying? That was close, but that was a good win. You beat the Chiefs or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? But the Chiefs has been playing bad.
Right.
The Cowboys been playing bad. The Chiefs been playing bad. Those are teams really right now that have names attached to them. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? And so they have question marks behind them. And also you with the Rams, we really don't know. You get what I'm saying? They have expectations and whatnot. You know, you look at them like they could win the conference. I mean, they could win the division. So I can understand the level of concern as well because you don't. It's like, well, damn, like are we that good? You get what I'm saying? Sometimes, man, certain seasons are hard to follow up behind, like what Saquon Barkley did last season. That's hard to follow up behind. And I think teams probably is looking at this team like, damn, if we stop Saquon, you know what I'm saying? Do we win the game just by stopping him? You get what I'm saying? So maybe that's the key to beating the Eagles. Or maybe it's not. You get what I'm saying? Because at the same time, we know that, man, if you play the run, Jalen Hurts can throw the football. They do have A.J. Brown. They do have Devontae Smith. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think when I just think when you look at the Eagles, that still a good team. They 3-0. But again, I just think they have to clean up some things. Jalen Hurts, we've seen this guy what he do. He's a top 5 quarterback. I'm just gonna say that. But it's been times where he ain't been able to get to his receivers, and I just think alone that the Eagles, if they go back to the playoffs as the number 1 seed and all that, I really honestly feel like if they don't really like slip up in the regular season, they're gonna lose in the playoffs of the Super Bowl. Like I can't see this routine repeating. Not saying that they can't, but I just don't see it. I just don't see this team repeating. I don't see it, and it seems like also too the defenses hasn't been as dominant as they were in the playoffs last year. They took a small step back. They still good. You still got the Georgia boys on the line reaping havoc,
Well, you ain't
but
got that Florida
they're
State
not
boy
just
over
as
there,
good.
man.
And it looked like the offense as well has took a slight step back too.
Yeah, you ain't got that Florida State kid over there, Josh Sweat, man. You know what I'm saying? That made a big
Right.
difference. But
Oh
nah,
yeah, he did. He signed in the offseason. Somebody forget who it was too.
hey, Phillips say, man, top 5, no, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna say I got me myself. I'm not gonna say I got Jalen Hurts in the top 5. You to get what I'm saying? Because I have to look at the first. I'm gonna start off with the 3 usual suspects: Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. So, and I think that, man, I can easily put 2 more quarterbacks in there before Jalen Hurts. So, I don't think I got him as my top 5. You get what I'm saying?
You don't got Hurts. Okay, I'm gonna give you my
Nah,
top 5. I got Baker Mayfield. I got Jalen Hurts. I got Lamar Jackson. I got Pat Mahomes. And then my 5th one would be what's that guy? Right now he's playing like a top 5 quarterback. Uh, Jordan Love. I'm
Jordan
gonna throw
Love.
him in there. I'm gonna
Nah,
throw Jordan Love in there. Nope, I take that back. I'm not gonna put Jordan Love in there. I ain't gonna disrespect him like that. I'm gonna put Dak Prescott in that motherfucker. I think Dak is playing like he's the top 5 quarterback. And when I'm looking at quarterbacks, I'm looking at overall skill sets, what they can do. Like both, when you look at the quarterbacks I put in there, both all these guys can throw the ball and they both are mobile quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I just think that those are my top 5, just the way they're playing.
right.
Philip, put your top 5 in the chat. Put your top 5 in the comment section, Philip.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, man, I got because I still got to put Joe Burrow up there. I mean, even though he's hurt, I still got to put Joe Burrow up
You
there.
gonna
You
put
know what
him
I'm
up there?
saying?
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
Respect.
And then like after that, man, like I say, man, like I say, I like Dak Prescott better as a passer than Jalen Hurts. But I will say this, right? I will say this. Um, Jalen Hurts, and I brought this up, man. Jalen Hurts understands when it's time to run. I think that's what separate the two. That's the difference between the two, and especially when you're talking about playoff football. Sometimes, man, it's gonna take more than you just sitting in the pocket. Sometimes it's gonna take some supernatural stuff to get out there, man, and you just gotta turn that light on. You know, um, like I can point to a lot of quarterbacks that was better than Eli Manning. You get what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, Eli Manning got 2 chips. You know what I'm saying? One of them years I remember him cutting the lights on Heap had, man, that was a great playoff performance. But he followed up the next season with back to his mediocre performance and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Being mediocre. But he say
Go
put
ahead and
any
answer
other
that. Yeah,
quarterback
I was
in
waiting for
that
you
Eagles
to.
team, they are still making the playoffs. And I agree, man. I think so too. You can put other quarterbacks in there due to how dominant their defense was, you know, and the playmakers that they got at receivers, and not to mention Saquon Barkley in the backfield. So I have to agree with you,
I
but at
agree
the
with him
same,
as well.
but
I agree with him as well that you could put any quarterback back there. Not any quarterback. I ain't gonna say any, but any serviceable quarterback. Let's say a guy like Trevor Lawrence. You put Trevor Lawrence back there,
I ain't
he
gonna even
good.
say Trevor. Trevor Lawrence been messing that bag up, man, lately though.
Yeah.
But
When
I
you got
get.
when you got Saquon Barkley, we got Travis Etienne, but we ain't got Saquon. Saquon is on a whole nother level.
But
So
you
it's
gotta
like
ask, but you gotta ask yourself with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence would easily lose the game for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not doing that to put his team in harm's way to lose the game. You get what I'm saying? So when people bring him up, I meant to say Jalen Hurts. I don't know if I said the right name or not, but
you
when
said, Jalen
people
Hurts, you right.
bring when people bring Jalen Hurts in the top 5 quarter conversation, I don't argue against it or disagree, but it's like I have my own top 5. I understand why. Looking at how he performed in the playoff or whatnot in the postseason, and that matters. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this. I'm gonna follow it up with saying this. I never had Eli Manning as a top 5 quarterback, not even close. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I never had him as a top five
So,
quarterback either. I
and
never
I
put him in
think,
my top five category. I
and,
might have
and
him as a top 10, 12,
but that's the
middle of the
reason.
road quarterback, but never
But
top 10 or never top five.
But that's the reason why a lot of people have Jalen Hurts in their top 5 due to his postseason success those 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Which I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're going to tell me put some respect on his name, yeah, I'll gladly. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts, I put some respect on his name. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't think that it would be a disservice to him to not have him in the top 5. You get what I'm saying?
I think this year, man, he gonna have to show us. Like, right now, Sunday he came through. The first 2 games, it was looking kind of suspect. I ain't gonna even lie. He barely threw over 100 yards last week. And then for him to come back this week, respond, throw for 200, I think he threw for 233 yards, something like that. 2 touchdowns, he was good.
Right.
But go ahead, Greg.
Oh, no, I ain't say nothing.
So but yeah, I just think that, like you said, I think that's why a lot of people don't put him in his top 5 because you look at how he plays, but everybody want to say if winning is the only stat, then he should be in there. Yes, winning is a part of being that, but you have to look at all the other intangibles outside of just winning. Like, you know, can you get players involved when you need to? Can you go down and make all the throws and things like that? And I think some of those limitations is what keeps him out of some people's top 5. I got him in my top 5 right now because of the winning. I'm gonna be real because he's been winning, and you know Jalen Hurts is not required to do all that. Say like Pat Mahomes or Matthew Stafford, where he got to throw the ball or whatever as much. Jalen Hurts is just he basically like if you ask me, Jalen Hurts is just a game manager, better like probably a elite game manager.
Right.
So let's talk about a team in Florida though, man. And you know we talk about quarterbacks, man. Let's talk about Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, man. They 3-2. The dude Baker Mayfield that had 3 game winning drives. Uh, and I'm like, bro, I had to put him in my top 5, bro, because I mean, Baker. If you look at the maturation process of Baker Mayfield, dog, the way he had now, dog. I mean, man, I mean, for me, I feel like I feel like he deserved this top 5 pick because when he was at Cleveland to come to Tampa Bay, and now you ball in Tampa Bay. This is your team. Like you're the franchise, not the franchise, but you the guy now. And it's something, and they've empowered you more than when the Cleveland Browns drafted you. You know what I'm saying? Just I like this. I like this Tampa Bay P. Now they are playing on the edge like the Eagles. They're playing like the Eagles, but you know what I'm saying? We're gonna see what these guys can do. I think they got Philly. I think they play Philly next this week. So two
Right.
teams that are both playing about the same. Let's see who comes out 4-0.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Like those two players I compare to each other, Jalen Hurts and
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. I think their game is kind of somewhat similar, whatnot. You get what I'm saying?
Bird. They
Yeah.
sponge on that.
Right. Like I say, man, I was talking about last week or whatnot. Now I would say Baker Mayfield. You could say that he's the better passer, or whatnot. Both of them got a strong arm, but I think that what separates them is with being dual pocket passers that they know when it's time to run. They know when it's time to call their on them and make a play. You get what I'm saying? And that's one of them things when you have ice in your vein. That's one of them things that helps when it comes to when you're playing playoff football.
Right.
So that's when I watch them two, man, they're kind of similar to each other.
Okay. I mean, and like I say, man, they're one of the 6 undefeated teams. We get to watch that game next week, man, and see, you know what I'm saying, how it all gonna pan out, man. But we're gonna talk about one more game. Let's talk about that Cowboys Bears game. We watched that game together, man, and I know Cowboys, man. I mean, what can I say, bro? You guys miss Michael Parsons. Upon doing this video, man, I went and did some research on this Cowboys defense, man. They've been getting ate up. They've been giving up close to over. They've been giving up almost over 300 yards a game, man. On the defense, the defense has, and that's bad because you can't stop nobody. If you're giving up over 300 yards a game, man, you can't stop the run. You can't stop the pass. You can't really generate a pass rush on a consistent basis. Uh, I don't know, man. I think I get it. Jerry Jones got some capital, some draft capital for this Michael Parsons, but man, it's looking like y'all miss Michael Parsons on the defense.
I can see the defensive coordinator getting fired this season and whatnot. I mean, regardless of if Michael Parsons there or not, the defense shouldn't be playing this bad. You get what I'm saying? I mean, of course, you got quarterbacks back there posing and whatnot, but at the same time, I mean, um, your run game should be more better with Kenny, with the addition of Kenny Clark. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
like I say, man, you still have one of the best cornerback tandems in the league with Diggs and Bland. So, this team should be a whole lot better on defense than what we're seeing. With two premier cornerbacks and whatnot, you should not be getting beat for plays like this downfield. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It
And
looked
that's what
bad on
been the
Sunday.
and that's what's been the thing with this team right here. Big plays downfield. You get what I'm saying? Teams are not just driving downfield. They're just, hike the ball, somebody go up, we got them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of dysfunctioning with that, with this defense and whatnot, man. A lot of too many big plays, man. So I think, man, really you have to look at not the subtraction of Michael Parsons, but you got to look at the defensive coordinator. There's no way teams should be scoring this easy, and especially got doggone Chicago for that matter. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking
Chicago,
about they've
man, the
been
last
struggling
couple of
too.
games, man, I'm talking about Caleb Williams, man, been getting hit, been getting harassed back there in the pocket. I don't think the Cowboys touched him. I don't think his jersey got dirty. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
you have to look at it. So, now you can say, yeah, because Michael Parsons is not there. But at the same time, the next man got to step up. And you have to be able to scheme up a blitz or something for O-line that hasn't been playing that good. You know what I'm saying? One
Right.
player should not be the difference maker or the deciding factor for your team, your defense playing this bad.
I absolutely agree, man. The defense has to get better, but it's what makes it even worse about this Dallas team. CD Lamb, dog, he got hurt, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like probably one of your best playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I
Right.
mean, now you're asking other guys to step up. Now Turpin did, it seemed like he made some plays, but he ain't CD Lamb. Now you asking Pickens, somebody who was a person that had problems in Pittsburgh, and yeah, it's just right now, man. It's bad.
See, I mean, I would say George Pickens is somebody that can step up into that number one spot and be that guy. But at the same time, you get what I'm saying? Him alone is not going to make the offense a potent offense. You get what I'm saying? Even when you look at CD Lamb alone, it's not going to be enough to make the offense a potent offense. You have to have pieces. You get what I'm saying? Around your quarterback. It take more than just one person to, to take a team, take an offense and to make it a dominant offense. And this is something that you need considering the fact that the defense is not playing that good. You got to be able to outscore opponents. You got to make up for what you don't have on defense on the offensive side of the ball. So with the subtraction of CD Lamb, your offense is not that potent. Now, it, you know, can George Pickens be a number one? Can he be a threat? Certainly. You get what I'm saying? But him standing alone to try to make up for a defense that probably the bottom of the totem pole this year is not going to be enough.
Now, I see what your boy just said, man. He said nothing will ever change with the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is still in charge. They say they are no iron team. Jerry is team. I'm gonna say this about Jerry Jones, man. I think Jerry Jones is very entertaining GM and owner of a team. Because I'm gonna be real with you. As much as we Dallas Cowboy fans probably hate Jerry Jones, some of the stuff he do, dog, he is the reason why the NFL is where the NFL is at in certain aspects as far as the money and the TV deals and things like that. Jerry Jones is a very shrewd, very good businessman. But I think when it comes to football, Jerry has the way he team builds is so outdated now. Like teams don't team build like that no more. And Jerry being so old, he's stuck in his ways. That's basically what it is. He's stuck in his ways. And like you said, if until he gives it over to Steven Jones, his son, and let him be the one making all the decisions, they're gonna continue to make bonehead decisions at our front office, man. What's your thoughts, Greg?
Um, I don't think with Jared Jones his problem is team building. You get what I'm saying? I think his problem is with the contracts. His ego dealing with these contracts and a lot of times, man, you waiting too long to re-sign players. You put yourself in a situation is what like you forced to sign everybody at once and that ticket then got that much higher. Versus when you look at you could have signed Dak last season or whatnot, and you won't have to pay as much. You could have signed Michael Parsons a while ago, you wouldn't have had to pay as much. Same with CD Lamb, same with numerous of players. And this has been the story of the Dallas Cowboys probably I would say since that Prescott has been there. You get what I'm saying? And so now we constantly seeing this, and now you have players taking off during the off season. You get what I'm saying? But now you're playing other players or whatnot. So that is the main thing right there because you don't leave enough money on the table to say, you know what, I'm gonna make a big free agent, a big splash in free agent. You know, Dallas has not made a big splash in free agency in years. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it always, where they ranked in the salary cap.
Yeah, man, and you right about that. He does wait, but I'm gonna take it a step further though, and now, you probably remember this. I think what season it was when Emmitt Smith holed out, beginning of the season. Forget what year that was. Isn't it? You know what? You remember what year it is?
Correct. That's the year I think I want to say he won the rushing title that year. He won the Super
Yeah,
Bowl that year too.
but Jerry Jones, he waited then, and he waited till they lost the first two games, and then was like, you know what? I need to sign.
Yeah.
It's like Jerry Jones is so stuck in his old ways, man, and I think that's what's really holding the team. Now, granted, like I said, you know, Jerry Jones wants his notoriety, and because he feel like he know football, and he played for the 1960 Arkansas Razorbacks. They won a national championship. That team, he played on the line when it was an offensive lineman, right?
I think
think
so. Yeah.
think he was a lineman. So it's like when you think about all this stuff, and you look at the Jerry Jones life and how he became and got all this money, and now he in football. This guy think he knows it all in a sense. Like I know more than the players, and then also too, all the old players got such great respect for Jerry Jones, the Michael Irvins, all these guys. They like, Jerry Jones has helped them out outside of football. So I
Right.
think a lot of times when Jerry come into these contract situations, he like, bro, I'm gonna take care of you if you take care of me. But the new generation players ain't thinking like that. The Dax, the CD Lambs, the Michael Parsons, they not thinking like how the old players were. They want their bread. They don't care about the loyalty no more, man. They want the money.
Well, I wouldn't say that they don't care about the loyalty because it's like when it's time to, discuss business, it's time to discuss business. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's like what I'm being loyal to. You feel what I'm saying? That's my loyalty right there. The fact that
Yeah,
I'm resigning with you, that's my
but I'm
loyalty
being
right
loyal
there.
too.
Right. So let's get the business out of the way. You get what I'm saying? Like
I feel you.
we can't play without the business being done. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you loyal to the contract. That's that, so I wouldn't say that it's a lack of loyalty. It's like knowing that I gotta take care of everything I need to take care of front because if I don't, I'm gonna be wishing that I had. You know what I'm saying? This thing can turn left in a minute. I need to have that leverage. And
Right.
I think that that's one of the things, man, with understanding, negotiating business, you have to be able to get as much leverage as you can. Now, granted, the ownership is going to have the bulk of the leverage, but you have to get what you can out the deal. You know what I'm saying? Because, say for instance, you have a bad season,
Uh-huh.
you're not going to be entitled to that same price tag because they're going to look at it like, has he declined? You know what I'm saying? And so, but you know what I'm saying? When you follow up, when you follow up a good season, and go and say, hey man, I need to be resigned or whatnot, you can stand to have a bad season the next year because you have enough time. You have the time frame to be able to follow up with a good season or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's just like with Cowboy fans, man. It's just like, bro, just be in for a long season this year, man. Because I don't know what to expect. I thought the first game of the season they played well. That looked like that looked good. But then it just seemed like at the season you watch the second game, then you just start seeing the holes more evident. Then the Bears, man. Everybody. Y'all made Caleb Williams look like a top 5 quarterback on Sunday.
Right,
They made Caleb Williams look good. It reminded me of that Jaguar game in London. Was it last year? Was
right.
it last year or the year before last?
That was last year.
Last year we played the Bears and we made him look. We made him look like he was gonna win Rookie of the Year and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But buckle up, Cowboy fans, man. It's gonna be a long season for y'all, man. But we got one more topic tonight. You got anything on Cowboys on the Cowboys?
No.
We gonna talk about this one more topic, man. This is something that's been on my mind for the last 2 days. I posted about it on the channel, and I actually did a video on it earlier today. What's your thoughts on the Shedeur Sanders? I'm gonna let you get your thoughts first, and I'm gonna come back with mine. What's your thoughts on Shedeur saying no to the Ravens and the Eagles?
I understand perfectly because you got to think you coming into the draft as the projected number one, number two overall quarterback. You get what I'm saying? And so now you looking at it like this here, like I'm not coming into the NFL to be a backup. I'm coming to be a starter. These are guys that are going to be the starter. They're penciled in as a starter. You know what I'm saying? It's not like going to Cleveland and you competing against Joe Flacco or you're coming behind Joe Flacco, somebody that's probably going to be out the league maybe next year or 2 years from now. You know, we know that Joe Flacco is on his way out the door. But somebody like Lamar Jackson, he's not going nowhere no time soon. Um, Jalen Hurts, he's not going nowhere anytime soon. So the only time you're going to be able to display what you can do is if it's not the preseason, if one of these dudes get hurt. And God forbid that happens. You know, nobody's wishing that nobody get hurt or nothing like that there. So it's like, and it's kind of like, and I'm gonna tell you what it's similar to, right? It's similar to when Cam Newton was at Florida. He's like, man, listen, man, I've been over here the whole time,
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow say he's coming back, and he say, man, I'm scrounging for straps with John Brinkley. You get what I'm saying? And he's coming back. I'm not getting no playing time. Like, man, I didn't come to be no backup. I came to play. You get what I'm saying? And he had to been on the bench, what, 2 years by this time?
Yeah, then he got kicked off
So,
the
right.
team.
So I can understand that move because you don't want to go to another team and not have a chance. Even where he's at in Cleveland right now, you know what I'm saying? In spite of how things look, he still have a chance.
Well, I will say this about that. I disagree. And this is why I disagree about it. Because I look at guys like Steve Young, who sat behind a Hall of Fame guy, Joe Montana. He waited his turn. For Dion to say you can't learn nothing sitting on the bench, I think that's disingenuous. Because you can learn a lot. Sitting back, watching film, looking at the game, studying, okay, you can be putting out, okay, this is what I ain't gonna do when I get out there. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do when I get out there. I see the mistakes that he making, I'm gonna do this different. Or I'm gonna run this play different because this how it's supposed to, I can sell this play action or whatever. I just thought that, if you want to be great, if you trying to strive to that, to be that, what's wrong with sitting? I mean, we forget. We not wishing injury on nobody, but injury is a part of football.
But
People forget that one year when Tom Brady got hurt for the whole season, Matt Pascal came out there, won 11 games for the New England. What they did, that got him a contract, a big contract for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Made his, you know what I'm saying? So like, you got to look at that aspect of it. And then we have another guy. People forget. Remember when Aaron Rodgers got hurt? It's the year Russell Wilson got drafted. Matt Flynn had played 2 games for the Green Bay Packers and mop up, for Aaron Rodgers. Got a big contract with the Seahawks. That's what I would have been thinking if I was to do it. Hey, I'm gonna sit behind this guy. I'm gonna wait my turn. Cause look at you waiting your turn now, and you run a scout team. So you
but
not nowhere near the field.
but let me
You on the
ask you
scout
this.
team, bro.
What's the likelihood of that's happening? That's a rare situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you
Well,
can't you
injuries happen every day. Be in the
right.
NFL.
In,
I got to go into
in,
my
injuries
in my page
injuries
in full.
happen, but you got to understand this, right? See, when Steve Young came into the league, Steve Young wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have the notoriety as a Shedeur Sanders. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
I
He
get
went
that.
into
You right.
he
You
was
right.
at
You right.
Tampa Bay. He did not go to San Fran and was just behind Joe Montana. He was at Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then he ended up going there. He didn't have a choice. So if you wait, and you got to understand this, Joe Montana was on his way out the door as well. So now think about this here. See, these are guys that played behind quarterbacks that you named like Matt Flynn, and you named another quarterback as well. They did not have a choice at what they was playing. You get what I'm saying?
Matt Castle.
Matt
That's the other
Castle.
quarterback.
These guys wasn't due. They came into the league. They was not first round scouts. You get what I'm saying? They was backups. They came in. That was their role to be a backup.
Got you.
Somebody like Shedeur Sanders, and I think you can say this with any quarterback. if the Ravens or the Eagles would have came at any of these quarterbacks, they would have said, "Hey, what you think?" They wouldn't want to get drafted though. You get what I'm saying? I think every player, if when they come to the league, is teams that they don't want to get drafted to. You get what I'm saying? Because they want to play. You got to think, you looking at it from a competitive standpoint. You want to play right now. Hey, man, I feel like I can come in and win. I want to play. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say now, and this not including the comment that Prime made. I understood what he said. We have to look at some of his comments as somebody that just analyzing the game. You get what I'm saying? But we took his comments as somebody we looking at this Shedeur Sanders' dad. You know what I'm saying? Of course he's going to say this, but I think any fan to feel the same. Any player is going to feel the same way. If I know that I got the talent to play in the league, I'm not looking as I just hope I get drafted. I just hope I get a job. I'm looking at it as I want to go to a team that I can play, that I got a fair chance to compete for a starting position, and I can play.
I understand all that what you're saying, Greg, man, and I really do. But I just think that when you look at the grand scheme of things, dog, like yeah, you said all that's fine and dandy, but you gotta look at the outcome. Now look at the outcome. You
But the
not nowhere
outcome is
near the
not bad
field.
though. But the
You
outcome,
nowhere near the field. You running scout team when you could have possibly been the second string quarterback for the Eagles or the second string quarterback for the Ravens. You so on the depth chart, even from a depth chart standpoint, you probably been further on the depth chart than you was with the Browns. And then you look at it from a development standpoint. Like, have Cleveland Browns developed any fucking quarterback? No. They have
but,
developed no quarterbacks.
but let me
And
ask you
then,
this
then
shit
I
though.
mean, they ran away Baker Mayfield, and you see what he's doing over in Tampa.
You
And
don't
then you look at the Eagles and the Ravens, dog, world class franchise, Super Bowl winning franchise that know how to take care and develop players. That's the part I'm looking at.
you don't
And
think
I see what Philip's saying too, but y'all got. I'm looking at the grand scheme of things. Go ahead, take
okay,
off. I know you got something to say,
but
Greg.
at the same time, you gotta think you just looking at the process only 3 games into the season. You get what I'm saying? We knew that coming into the season that Joe Flacco was going to be the starting quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We knew that. So of course he's not going to be. He's not the starter. You get what I'm saying? But just like you say, injuries can happen. I like his chances better of being a starter with the Cleveland Browns than with Philly and Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? See, like I say, we can't look at it from a standpoint. Look at it from a player a person that you feel like you're a first round talent. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you
I
can
get where you
play.
coming at from that
And
though.
so
I see what you're saying.
and
Go
so
ahead though.
multiple teams, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to want to go to a team that you're not going to start it. You get what I'm saying? Like I say, is it possible? Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. But at the same time, the likelihood of it is slim. You have a better chance of going to a smaller school. I mean, going into a one of these teams that don't have a franchise quarterback. And that was the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns do not have a franchise quarterback. So even though he's not starting as of right now, his chances still are better, regardless if he's on the scout team or whatever the case may be. His chances are better with Cleveland to be a starting quarterback than they would have been with Baltimore or got doggone Philly. You know what I'm saying? He got a chance to display his talent, and we seen it's like, okay, dang, he looked good when he played with the first team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and I hear that, bro. And you make some good points, because I didn't really think about it in that aspect of yeah, he considered himself a first round talent. So in that aspect, I totally understand. Hey, I want to get on the field, but the cards you was dealt, you know what I'm saying? You went in the fifth round, then they drafted Dylan Gabriel over you. So that's already an uphill battle. Now, if you feel like I can take his job, I can take that spot, then cool. But it's like, I mean, I just look at the grand scheme of things, bro. When I found when this came out, I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, me, even if I was a first round talent, bro, we look at Pat Mahomes, we forget Pat Mahomes. I mean, it went long. Don't get me wrong. He was only benched only like a year and a little and some change. But he was a backup, and he was a first round draft pick, 15th pick. He stayed
Okay,
a whole year behind Alex Smith.
but at the same time, these situations are different. Everybody knew that he was coming in to take over as the starter. Alex Smith, it was not the long-term solution. You know, it's different when you're going to play behind a veteran. That's not the long-term solution. But you go or from playing behind a veteran that is the franchise guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, these guys are penciled in as the long-term solution. They may have at least another 8 years left to play in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I don't think no quarterback is going to want to wait that long, just sit behind the bench, and we never get to see you. You know, you get what I'm saying?
I
So
get
if
what
you
you're
think
saying.
about the time has been that went on, you know, let's think about a contract for, you know what I'm saying? You in your second year, your third year. Nobody got the chance to see you on the field. You still sitting there, you know what I'm saying? So you're what's going to happen is this. You're going to become more of an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? And let's think about this, right? Just think about outside of this being Shedeur. The only reason why Shedeur name wouldn't probably be an afterthought because of his name. You get what I'm saying? But let's just take a random name or whatnot in the NFL. Let's just think about Kenny Pickett. You get what I'm saying? Kenny Pickett okay, he's a project. Maybe he do good. He could be worth taking in the first round. But at the same time, let's say Kenny Pickett go to one of these teams or whatnot, and he played behind whoever for 3 years. Kenny Pickett is going to become an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people is not sold on him. You know, I thought that he would be better than what he is that he's been showing. I thought he was worth the first round pick. But a guy like he would be an afterthought. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
so you don't want to become that. You come in the league as you know what I'm saying, and then that's like, dang. If I'm expecting to be a first round, I'm not trying to be no first round behind no god doggone Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, even a second round pick. You know what I'm saying? If and like I say, from a competitive standpoint, if I feel like I got the talent, I want to go to a team that I can start now. Even if I can't start now, I want to go to a team that I know that, okay, they're going to invest in me. You get what I'm saying? We know that these two teams that they're bringing up, they're not finna invest in you. That's, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to even get on the field.
Yeah, man. I think this is a pretty good conversation, man. We're gonna agree to disagree on this one, man. Um, but I will finish with this. Now, I'll say this, and I'll let you get your final thoughts about this. About this. Now that everything has been laid out, do you still think he made the right decision? Me personally, I still don't think he made the right decision, regardless, because you further along in the depth chart, and I'm gonna keep pointing that out. Like you, and then the wild card is what people fail to realize: Deshaun Watson might come back. So if you throw him in there, then what you do? What you gonna have your
Well,
$200 million guy running the scout team?
Deshaun Watson is on his way out the door. Only reason why Deshaun Watson is there and we're entertaining his name is because of the contract he has. So you want to hold on to some type of hope with that. But we know that Deshaun Watson is not going to be the long-term answer. He's going to be on his way out the door. Let's be honest, there's a chance that Deshaun Watson could be on his way out the NFL due to the amount of injuries. You get what I'm saying? And
Right,
everything else that comes with it. You get what I'm saying? So we know that Joe Flacco, how many years do we think Joe Flacco got in the National Football League? You get what I'm saying? So yes, I'm going to say he made the right decision because he at a team, in spite of what it's looking like right now, he's still in a better situation to start for Cleveland than he would have been for Philly and Baltimore. Regardless that he's on the scout team, you have a
right.
better chance of working your way up, you know what I'm saying, from the practice squad with these teams versus these other two teams or whatnot. So
I
yes,
feel
I
you,
would say
man.
he made the right decision.
All right, that's what's up then. Let's see. They got the next. That's the Browns next. The Browns next couple games. They got the let me see, hold up. They got the Lions on Sunday. I think they'll take a loss there. They
Yeah.
got the Vikings. That's a toss up. Steelers, they can win that game too. You know what I'm saying? And then they got the Dolphins. And then they got the Patriots. So it's a stretch of games where let's just say Joe Flacco go this next stretch. You got Lions, Vikings, Steelers, Dolphins, Patriots. This next 5 game stretch. Let's just say Joe Flacco win 2 of those games. Now you 3-5 or whatever, or 3-5. You still got playoff life. Joe Flacco, if he's still healthy, they're gonna keep rolling him out there. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So now, you know what I'm saying. So do you? Let me ask you this question: do you see Shedeur playing any a snap this year?
He may not play this year. You get what I'm saying? But you're not banking on this season. Like I say, it's just like when we were just talking about with Pat Mahomes or whatnot. It may not
Right.
come this season. You know what I'm saying? But it could come this season. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the
All right.
thing is, you at a team that you know that you don't have a long-term solution. You know what I'm saying? That's
I
like
feel you.
you going to a job or whatnot. They may not have a person at this spot. You know what I'm saying? Or let's just say you looking at jobs and you going to fill out application. You're going to be more you're going to be more inclined to filling out jobs that need a position that you're looking for versus one that, oh, they full, we full at the time. You want to get on the wait list and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to be more inclined to going to those jobs. You get what I'm saying? Versus, so I would say, yeah, he made the right decision because they don't have a long term. Joe Flacco can win a Super Bowl this year. You know what Joe Flacco gonna do? He gonna sail into the sunset, said I had a good career and retire. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he is
He
what it
gonna
is.
go
You're right
out on
about that, though.
top.
You know,
Or he may have one more season. If Joe
facts.
Flacco get any type of contract, it's gonna be a 2-year contract. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Dylan Gabriel or whatnot, he's looked good. But at the same time, we know whether he's going to be the long-term answer or not. He looked it good when we saw him. He looked it good, hands down. Can't say nothing bad about him in the preseason. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, it's still a chance there. You get what I'm saying?
I got you. So we're gonna move into our last topic of the night, man. We're gonna go into our arrivals and departures, man. I don't know if you got any arrivals and departures. I got 3 arrivals, man. I'm gonna give my QB highlights for the week. I got arrivals. I got Marcus Mariota. Came in backup duty against the Commanders, and he won. He hold it down. Got a big win for the Commanders. You had Carson Wentz come in for the Minnesota Vikings, get a big win against and then you had another guy, uh, Jalen Hurts. Do his thing, come from behind, win. The block. And those are my 3 arrivals. And the crazy about these 3 arrivals is all these guys was on the Philadelphia Eagles. Every
you
last one
said
of them.
you said Jalen Hurts and who else?
Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, and Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
Yep. Those are my arrivals.
Yeah, okay. And man, mine is, man, listen, it's gonna surprise you, right?
Who?
My rival this week is Cromartie McLean. Even though
Woo!
they lost or whatnot, right? And I'm saying this right because a dude brought this post, right, and I thought it was valid. I
I already know
respect
you
what he
going at,
said.
but go ahead.
And he said this. He said, when he was looking bad or whatnot, and then, he had conflict with Dion, everybody had something to say. You get what I'm saying? He say now that he's playing good or whatnot, hey, put some respect on his name. Bring that up. And you know what? I'm going to do that. If nobody else haven't did it, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to salute Cromartie McLean to overcome what he went through or whatnot. Now, but I will say this, though. Was some of this criticism warranted as well? You get what I'm saying? Because at the same time, when you put yourself out there in the internet and you going back and forth or whatnot, people going to look at you. It's the same thing I said with Dabo Swinney. They're going to look at you and see if you're going to follow up. So when he went to Florida the first season with Florida, it was a lot of complaints about, his work ethics and everything like that there. You get what I'm saying? So now, regardless of what happened with him and Coach Prime or whatnot, I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He could have been 100% right. Coach Prime could have been hating on him. But look at how it was follow up. You get what I'm saying? Lack of work, you know what I'm saying? Bad work ethics when you came to Florida, whatnot. So now we can say, could it been a chance that he got his act together and he cleaned himself up? And that's why I said, what you have to ask yourself, was the criticism warranted? But nevertheless, he's on the right path and he doing his thing. You get what I'm saying? And he's out there balling. So Cromartie McClain, he get my rival salute to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I thought you was gonna mention with Marty McClain. They had him rated the highest rated player in that Florida Miami game on both sides of the ball against the Gators. He was the highest rated player as far as
Right.
his PFF
I
grade.
mean,
So
I mean, like I say, I saluted him. He been doing his thing. You know, I said he was balling, and he had the interception. I think. Then he
yeah,
had
it
he
was a
had the
great
interception.
interception too. Nice,
Right.
nice interception.
You know what I'm
Good
saying?
interception. So my departure this week, man, is going to be Bill Belichick and the UNC Tar Heels. And the reason why I'm giving him a Bill Belichick that because he clearly has quarterback controversy right now. You don't know what quarterback he gonna roll with, and we'll see this week when Dion play. I think they play Arizona or somebody. If they're gonna stick with Kate and Salters, but North Carolina been doing this seesaw thing with quarterbacks. First, they started with Matt Johnson, the transfer from A&M. He was thinking up the place. Then they went to the young kid and Kia Thompson, the kid coming out, Gio, whatever his name. I forget the dude's
Right.
name. Then they went back to Matt Johnson this week after they was getting their ass blowed out against UCF. So it's like he has a cool quarterback controversy, and he got to figure something out. I think Belichick is finding out college football ain't nothing like NFL. Like some of the stuff that you do in college in NFL, you can't really translate that to college football. And I think Belichick is starting to see those growing pains now.
Right. Man, my departure, man, I gotta go with Clemson, man. It's like, man, you know, like I mentioned earlier with Clemson, man, you letting everybody come in your house, come in the living room, kick their feet up, touch the remote with greasy hands. You know, we seen one dude just go right to the refrigerator and made himself a sandwich. You get what I'm
Facts.
saying? So it's
Facts.
like, man, you letting anybody come in your house doing whatever they want to do, man. Clemson, you got my departure for this week.
That's what's up, man. And any final thoughts, Greg?
Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody for rocking out with us, man. Philip, appreciate you, man. You get what I'm saying?
Appreciate that,
Appreciate all the
Philip.
support we've been getting, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we like I say, man, even if you just tune in for a few seconds, man, we appreciate the energy, man. You know, like I say, man, continue to subscribe to the channel, man. Hit that like button, you know what I'm saying?
Hit the
Drop a
subscribe button.
comment. You know, like I say, man, Joe Oliver, Greg Maddox Jr.,
Maddox.
First Class Media, all that under, you know, all we co-pilots. You get what I'm saying?
Co-pilots, man. We all up on the same conglomerate, man. Support. You supporting Greg, you supporting me, you
Right.
support me, you supporting Greg, so we all one
Facts.
team, man. That's how we do the damn thing,
Right.
man. And on that note, it's your boy Joe.
And this your boy Greg.
And we out. Peace.
Yo.